Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 18 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life Series 19 and Mad About Mini Paper Pads. And today's sketch is by Gloria Montross, I think. And it is a lot of fun and the perfect sketch for using up some paper pads. I have a picture of my grandson with a lovely Parton Waters at Pride from 2025. And in September, I made a layout for Mad About Mini Paper Pads with this same paper pad, and it is a facing page. And so this is one of the medium mixed media papers I created a while back as a lift off. And so I wanted to use that. So I have my mini paper pad. I have some random embellishments, some leftovers from that layout, my picture, and this awesome sketch. So let's see how this goes. So the layout I did in September for Mad About Mini Paper Pads was also for Scrap Timber and to celebrate the lovely Christine Harden and her 2,000 subscriber hop. And she had the prompt for Scrap Timber was hearts, so I made these little doilies out of the paper pad, this one, and used like as much of the paper pad as I could to make the doilies, map pictures, and all that. So I decided, since there was another picture to go with my Pride layouts, that I would use those and this mixed media paper that I made probably in July. I sprayed out a layout, took another piece of mixed media paper and laid it out and squished it down to help expand the use of that spray, and then took another paper, which is the one I used in September, and it mostly just had little spots in places. It was not a full coverage like this is. So I know these papers are not the same color as what's sprayed on the layout, but I'm going to take care of that. I have used some of the papers over there to the left for making the strips that you can see on the sketch. Hopefully I'm going to remember to put that in the top left corner. Anyway, Gloria's sketch has 5 strips. And so I've cut those out. And then with the leftovers, I'm making this mat for my picture. Now I've already matted it in black. I did trim it down just a smidge and it's about 5.5 inches tall. And then I did not make it any less wide. So it's 4 by about 5.5. Maybe a little more than that once it was matted with the black. And then I matted it on 6 1/4 by 5 3/4, I think. 4 3/4, I'm sorry, across. I love how vibrant it makes this picture and how the colors from that paper pad stand out with that black. So I'm just kind of laying it out on my mat to kind of get an idea for the size. And I realized it's really too wide. And so I cut it down. It was 1.5 inches and I cut it down to 1 inch. And that definitely works better because I'm going to mat them, each of those strips, on black because, like I said, I know that the colors in the paper pad don't really match very well, except maybe like the yellow and some of the orange, to the ink that I've sprayed. So I mat them all with this very thin layer border of black so that it separates that. And I'm going to lay like the pinkish red color on the purple and the greenish color on, where the red and the yellow and stuff are. So it's not going to have like the purple on purple and stuff like that. Excuse me. So I have all the colors in the mat, and then I'm adding all those colors to these little strips. Now, on her sketch, there are 5 strips, but I have 6 colors, and I wanted to get them all on there. So I cut, instead of having one long one on the far left, I do 2. So I do the pinkish color and then a smaller orangey color. And so that way I get to have all 6 of the colors, and I'm still sticking with her design and just added like a little. Now, should I have started on the bottom and worked up? Yep. Learn from my mistakes, my friends. Now, my original plan was to do like this rainbowy thing with these lovely little heart doily things that I have from the last layout. But because I moved my stuff up too high, that didn't work. And I don't think it would have worked looking at it now. Like, it would have only been another maybe quarter of an inch or so, and that still wouldn't have done what I really wanted or what I had in my mind to do from the corner. So I put these 3 on the side, and then I'm going to do the other 3 on the corner, which is where I was thinking I would put all 6 of them. But because they aren't full, then I knew that they needed to be tucked as best as possible behind the picture. Now, when I put this picture down, I only attached the far left side over to about halfway because I knew I'd be tucking these behind there. I need to remember to go in with my glue now that I'm thinking about it and glue the corners down. So I put these in there. Now I know that the red isn't completely, the ends of the red are not behind the picture. So I'm going to fix the bottom one with this You're My Rainbow. That came from a Thickers collection, or a Thickers sticker sheet. And then there's a little gap in the top as well, but I'm going to fix that with a heart. Now, I specifically picked this Create Yourself as the title from a Vicki Boutin collection, and I think it was from Color Study, and I thought that was a perfect title for this layout. And the You're My Rainbow is something I found when I was looking for some embellishments to use. I didn't really want to add a bunch of embellishments. I don't want this beautiful background paper to be covered too much. And, you know, you're already covering almost the entire left side with you know, the lines and the little strips and the picture. So I didn't want to cover everything completely. So I'm only going to add some of the hearts that I already had cut out for my layout for the 20th of September for Scrap Timber and for Mad About Many Paper Pads and Christine's Hop. And so I had some leftover hearts. I'm going to tuck some here, there, and the other. And then I had some that are the same color as the strips, which that was the whole point. I wanted to have it all kind of coordinating. But I was like, what am I going to do with these? I go ahead and I put one of the pinkish red ones on top of the pinkish red paper. There's a yellow sticker that's almost the same color on the yellow. And then there's a purple sticker on the purple. And then I'm going to put one of the cutouts of the purple and one of the cutouts of that minty green. And then I decided after I did that, I wanted to trace around them with a black pen so it helps them stand out a little. So I'm going to do that in a minute. And then I've got some wordy bits that I want to add from a Tim Holtz collection. They say we are fearless, independent, and original. One says make a difference, and the other says live your dream with passion. And I thought those were really appropriate and really fitting for this layout. And then I do use my date stamp. One note that I typically will mention, if I'm ever working on mixed media, I always use a liquid glue to solidify and stick my stuff down. Now, I'll use my ATG gun to do like a quick set, but like with each of those strips and then the picture and everything, I use my ATG for like the middle, and then I use the glue like at the corners and kind of, you know, around the sides and stuff. So that way things are going to stay even on the mixed media. Now, the little strip of blue paper that I had has a little dotted line on it from where it was the top of like the little strip. And the irony is I'm going to cover that part up with a blue heart, and the You're My Rainbow covers the blue on the other side, so it was kind of pointless to even use it at all, but it's fine. So my plan was to just cover that with something, and so now here I've covered it with a few more hearts. So I used all but like 4 or 5 of the little hearts, and I used the rest of my little doilies that I had cut out, and another 6 sheets of paper from this paper pad. So I'm down to probably 20 or less from this 100 paper pad. So that's exciting. And then I just put AJ got to hang out with Parton Waters at Pride. She was amazing. And also like 6 foot something without the hair. And AJ just kept staring at her with just like this really neat face on, like he was just really enthralled by her. And then he, of course, looked for the pictures, but it was hysterical and he was so cute about it. And so I was just grateful that we ran into her and that she was willing to hold him and that he wasn't startled by her height or anything or her very large hair, because we do not have hair like that in my family. So the height he's used to with my nephew, but not that kind of hair. But anyway, it was an amazing experience. I'm super glad that he was able to have that. And I love the way this layout turned out. I hope you'll go check out everybody else who's hopping along with 30 Days of Sketches. Thank you so much, Gloria, for this beautiful sketch. And also go check out everybody who's hopping along with Mad About Mini Paper Pads. And I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up if you like my video and or my layout. And I hope you all have a great day. Hope you get a chance today to do something you love with someone you love. And happy scrapping!